This video is about how narratives fit into a psychological model. Let me show you how I brought up that Wikipedia narrative link. You can simply select an item and then tap on the information button in the toolbar, and that will bring up a view that usually contains a couple of links. This link is a link to the narrative section in Wikipedia. But what we want to do primarily is put this in context of two psychological models. One is a motivated tactician, that's represented by the fox in the picture. And the other psychological model is called the cognitive miser, and that's illustrated by the fox in the grapes. So let's go back to the structure. You can also find these cognitive models under the cognitive style type, twig as we call it. And so you can see that goal-motivated reasoning is a leaf under the motivated tactician twig of information because it's checkmarked. So that means you can select the information item and it'll take you to the Wikipedia article about it. So to start, we would navigate to conversation, which includes dialogues and narratives, and we go to narratives. And for the crow in the picture, the crow represents a motivated tactician. And the narrative the crow is telling itself is how to figure out the problem. So in this case, the crow is trying to determine the rationale to obtain some water by dropping pebbles into the vase to raise the water level. The opposite is with the fox and the grapes. In this case, the fox really isn't trying to figure out how to get the grapes. He just desires them and is just going after them wildly. And the story the fox is telling himself is more of a rationalization. So that's how these two narrative types contrast. One is trying to figure out how to solve a problem, and another is just trying to find any kind of justification to do something. So what we want to do is connect these dots of information together so they make some kind of coherent thought process. And if we follow the crow's thinking, we'll navigate from a rationale to the cognitive type. And the cognitive type here is a motivated tactician. And the crow is using goal-motivated reasoning. And so we can tap on this icon again, and it'll bring up the Wikipedia contents that explain what's going on here. And let's see if there's, and this is kind of the end of this chain of thought. So that's a real simple example of how we can tie start building a basic processing model. So let's just take a look quickly at the fox and the grapes. So we'll go back to conversation, and this time the narrative type is rationalization. So let's follow rationalization. It's going to take us to the cognitive type, which is the cognitive miser. And in this case, the fox is simply using trial and error reasoning. We can tap on the information button in the toolbar, and this will take us to a Wikipedia article about trial and error reasoning. So that's how our model is structured. And the goal here is to keep these videos between 5 and 10 minutes. It's better to have a lot of videos that are short than it is really long ones. So in the next video, we'll move on to the next subject, which would be fact checking, what we could do, how we can use the app to fact check.